Hey everyone, Guillotine here. Um, in true George R. R. Martin fashion, to really be true to the inspiration and the imagination he has for this series, Ice and Fire, and the TV show Game of Thrones, I am going to talk about the season 4 finale of Game of Thrones while eating. So, last night was a season finale. Um, a lot of stuff happened. So we'll just try to do a quick recap. So we saw kind of a mid conclusion to a lot of storylines. Um, First off, in the north, we showed in the episode before last, after the Battle of Castle Black, Jon went to go speak with Mance Rayder and try to negotiate a peace. Um, try to negotiate peace, and also to kill Mance Rayder so that the Wildling army would be disbanded. Well, when it gets there, they speak and they talk about Ygritte, and then this attack happens. Someone is attacking the Wildlings, and this huge force of men on horses just take the Wildling army out in like 5 minutes, like less than 5 minutes. And Mance surrenders the army, and he's like, "I'm tired of my people spilled enough blood." And who's leading the army but Stannis motherfucking Baratheon? So now Stannis is in the north with his full force. He is in the north, pretty much renewing his battle against the Lannisters to take the kingdom for himself, and basically renewing it in the north and going to head south, and just try to unify the north under him. Also in the north, we had the story of Bran trying to find the three-eyed raven. So they're going, and they eventually make it to the tree that Bran saw in his dream. And as they get there, these skeleton men, start attacking, which, first off, finally got a CGI budget. Looked awesome. Anyway, these skeleton men start attacking, and they fight him off, but Jojen dies. So Jojen's dead. So they make it into the hollow where the skeleton men can't follow them, and they meet the three-eyed raven, which is this incredibly old man who's entangled in these roots of the tree, and they're led in by a child of the forest. They were called the children of the forest, but like the first men, and they say, that's what we were called, but we were here before the first men. They're basically like the elves of Westeros. They're the elf version of the first Song of Ice and Fire. And so they meet him, and he tells him that he's gonna help him fulfill his destiny, blah 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 blah, and then that cuts off. So then we go down to meet with Arya. Arya and the Hound and Brienne and Pod, they're all in the Riverland. Oh no, they're near the Eyrie. And Brienne and Pod run into Arya and the Hound, and Brienne and Pod figure out who they are, and Brienne tells them that she made a promise to Catelyn to, bring Arya and Sansa to safety, because everyone has thought Arya was dead by now. No one's properly seen her. So when she found him, she said she was going to take her to safety, and the Hound was like, "No, you're not." And they get in a fight, and Brienne ultimately wins and knocks him off a cliff. Well, during the battle, Arya slipped away, and Brienne and Pod then go looking for Arya. Well, Arya snuck away, and she went down the cliff to go see the Hound, and he's lying there totally beaten, dying, from his wounds. And he's basically, saying his confessions in order to provoke Arya to kill him, because he was always on her list of all the people she's going to kill. And she just, stares at him, and then she just leaves him dead. And the last thing we see of the Hound is him calling out to her to kill me, please kill me. And she leaves. She rides a little bit, and she comes across a dock, and there's a ship there, and she goes to the captain and she says, "I'd like you to take me to the north, I'll pay you," because she stole the Hound's money she left. And he says, "I'm not going to the north, I'm going to Bravos." And he says, "Well, wait, I have this coin." So she shows the captain the coin that Jake and Hagar had given her, like in season 2. Jake and Hagar and the coin, who we haven't heard about for 2 whole seasons, now comes out of her pocket, gives it to him, and he looks at this coin like hard, like just, oh my god, it's the coin, Valor Morgulis, bitches. And he says, yes, you can come with us, you'll have a cabin, you are a guest of honor. So the last we see of Arya, she is sailing away to Bravos to go on an adventure. We'll find out what happens after. And finally, probably one of the bigger, not one of the bigger, but probably a more significant to the closer story of the families and everything, was with Tyrion, who, last we left him, Oberyn lost the fight between him and the Mountain. Tyrion was sentenced to death, and he's just waiting for his sentence to be carried out, and the door opens, and he's expecting, for the headsman to be there, and it's Jaime. Jaime and Varys made a plan to get him out of King's Landing and save his life. So, he tells him, go up this ladder, Varys will meet you. Well, Tyrion takes a little detour, and he goes into his father's room, clearly wanting a final confrontation with his father, who his entire life had treated him like shit, had sentenced him to death when he knew that he wasn't the one that killed Joffrey. Goes there, it's in the middle of the night, so he's expecting Tywin to be in the bed, and he's not there, but guess who is? Shay. Yep, Shay, the whore that he loved, is in Tywin's bed naked. So she sees him, she grabs a knife, she goes to kill him, he gets to her first, he grabs her necklace, and he just strangles her to death. And he has this, this very weak, I'm sorry, kind of, just empty, I'm sorry, and it's like everything he cared about was just gone now. So he looks over and he sees Joffrey's old crossbow in Tywin's room. So he takes it, and he goes to find Tywin on the shitter. So they have a conversation, and Tywin basically tries to compliment Tyrion. It's like, oh, you're a survivor, and you really think I'd let them kill you? You're a Lannister. I'd never let them kill you. Blah 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 blah. And he says, well, Shay, I loved her. He's like, you loved a whore? He's like, don't ever say that word again. Well, as the conversation goes on, he says the word whore again, in reference to Shay, and he fires off a crossbow bolt right to the chest. And he comes back, and then you see Tyrion slowly reloading it, has another one. Tywin Lannister is dead. Tywin is dead, on the shitter, did not shit gold. So then Tyrion leaves and gets on a ship in a crate, packed in a crate, and is shipped away. It was a great episode. I thought it was amazing. I don't know if they did something different, but everything just looked amazing aside from the CGI stuff. A couple things I'm actually, there's only one thing I'm really disappointed about, and it's not a problem. The entire season I've been looking forward to seeing this one character that's in the book, who I guess they're not going to put him in the show because the Child of the Forest basically replaced the character's role. The character I really want to see was Cold Hands, he wasn't another, but he was. And in the books, he's the one that basically saves Sam and Gilly, and then leads them to the hole in the wall for him to go find Bran and tell him to meet them on the other side of the wall. Well, that never happened, and then I thought, when they got there and all the skeletons are attacking him, I thought this would be the perfect time for him to run in and save the day. Doesn't do it, the Child of the Forest does. But he's basically this other, but he's not an other. He's like a good other. And he's shrouded, he's robed, and he's dressed like a Night's Watchman. He rides this rotting elk, kind of like the rotting horses that the others rode. Well, this one's an elk. And a lot of people thought that, he might be, or at least be, the body of Benjen Stark, which I thought that would be pretty interesting. But apparently they're not going to do that. I've been looking forward to see that character because he was awesome. So apparently we're not going to be able to see that, which is kind of disappointing. Also, the whole thing with the Hound and Bran, that never happened, but I thought it worked for what they were trying to do. Aside from that, I'm going to keep eating my delicious feast in honor of George R.R. Martin. And I'm going to get out of here. So, later. It's so good. You have no idea, it's so good.